And Mike, I just want to go back to you and talk about what a contrast this election should be. To that central question that voters often ask of politicians: do you understand who I am? Do you understand how I live? You know, is a politician, are they one of us? Voters will often ask, whether you're in Iowa or Texas or Michigan, Wisconsin, wherever. And you are so right. With Joe Biden, you've got a guy who grew up in a family whose dad struggled. His dad lost a job, struggled in Scranton, moved around. As he got older, Joe Biden went through one tragedy after another. He lost a wife and a baby girl in a tragic car accident. He lost a son to cancer. His other son struggles with addiction. And through it all, you have Joe Biden persevering and achieving a dream that his father and his mother, who, by the way, lived with him until she passed, I think at 97 or 98, could have never imagined. And on the other side, he's running against a guy who right now is trashing American democracy, trying to convince Americans they cannot trust American democracy, trashing America's rule of law, what really separates us from other countries across the world, a guy who's trashing our military leaders and trashing actually the armed forces just because he's not president of the United States. He's a draft dodger. He got his daddy to line him up with a doctor that said he had bone spurs. His daddy gave him $400 million. He inherited $400 million, which he lost. He left in his wake a line of bankruptcies. A New York judge says he's a rapist. Another New York judge says he's a fraudster. He's already been found guilty of fraud. You've got other cases where he's been caught stealing nuclear secrets. He's been caught stealing war plans. And yet he's lived in country clubs and gold-plated towers his entire life. And he's continued to somehow, as you said, spread the lie that he's one of us to the voters of Iowa. When, as you said, it is so clear, Joe Biden has lived their life. Joe Biden has lived their struggles. He did it growing up in Scranton. He did it in Delaware when he got the call that he lost his wife and daughter. It's happened time and time again. And Joe Biden has persevered. And what's he doing? He's not telling people to hate American democracy. He's not telling people to hate America's economy. He's not telling Americans to hate the military or its military leaders. He's lifting them up and saying, we've got a great country. We've got a great democracy. We've got a great judicial system. We've got a great military. Hey, Mike, there's just, I don't think there's ever been a starker difference on the question of who's one of us for middle-class voters, for working-class voters. As you said, these contrasts, they need to be drawn.
You know, Joe, I think you're talking about something that the pollsters don't really ask about, or that the people running campaigns don't really focus or concentrate on. And it's that it might be that the huge majority of people in this country walk around each and every day thinking the country is damaged. They can't put their finger on the damage. They can't articulate the damage, but they think the country is presently damaged and the future might be in doubt. And they think about this when they look at their children and they wonder, what's my child's life going to be like going forward? And what they're looking for is some sense of assurance that the people in charge of the country, from the president down to the mayor of their city or the selectman of their small town, do they know what my life is like? Do they know what I want to do for my child and my family? Do they know this? They get the sense now that they don't. That's Joe Biden's strongest asset, just as you indicated. And I shouldn't pop this out because it's not really public knowledge, but in terms of what you were just talking about, to this day, Joe Biden carries in his wallet a picture of his deceased daughter, who was killed in a car crash shortly before Christmas in 1972, right after he was first elected to the United States Senate. Joe Biden carries this every day. He knows the worry, the concern, the grief, the heartache, and the successes that ordinary people have, because he's had all of it, and he still does. What happened? As Mitch Landrieu said the other day, what happened after his wife and daughter were killed? He wore the cloak of grief, still wears it, but he went to work. What happened when he realized and was told and was confronted with the fact that his only surviving son, Hunter Biden, was an addict? Most families in this country know what it's like to have someone in the family who's an addict and who's addicted to something, no matter what the addiction is. They know what that's like. And what do? Do they quit? Do they complain? No, most of them, like Joe Biden, get up and they go to work. That's what he does every single day.
Yeah. And
his work is the presidency. But he is at heart an ordinary citizen. He is at heart one of us. And they don't make that strong enough on his behalf, I don't think.
Well, and you are so right. It's so moving that he carries a picture of his young daughter who was killed in a car accident so long ago. And when he's going around showing you pictures in his office, he will point to Beau, and yes, he will still tear up and he'll say, he should have been here. He should have been president, not me. And he continues that fight, not only for his deceased son, the memory of his deceased daughter, his mom, his father, that stay with him wherever he goes, those working class roots. Anybody that's been around Joe Biden for 5 minutes knows this to be the case. Lindsey Graham, you know, you can find that video of Lindsey Graham tearing up, saying anybody that says anything bad about Joe Biden doesn't know Joe Biden. And of course, we won't go there about Lindsey. But you talked about the economy. And you talked about people worrying about where things are. This is the perversion. This is the perversion of these networks that twist and contort the reality if their guy or woman's not in office. We have an economy that's stronger than ever. I've said it before, but one of the most conservative columnists, Gerard Baker, said the U.S. economy was the big winner in 2023. You have a military that's stronger than ever. Relative to the rest of the world, stronger than any time since 1945. Anybody who understands military strength and power will tell you that. And for all of its failings, and elite colleges have a hell of a lot of failings, for all of its failings, our educational system, our colleges and universities, still the best in the world. People send their children to America from all over the world because our educational system, with all of its failings, the best in the world. Guess what? Another really conservative Wall Street Journal writer said that last week in a column. Why? Because it's true. So I don't understand these networks that trash America. I don't understand politicians like Donald Trump who trash America. I don't understand people who hate America when America's economy is stronger than it's been in a long, long time. Our military is stronger than it's been in generations. And yes, our educational system, with all of its failings, with elite universities, still the best in the world. And there's not a close second. Not a close second in any of these areas. So if people are out there preaching hate, talking about how America is weak, they are lying to you. They are lying through their teeth, and they're doing it for their own reasons. America is strong, America is powerful, and America is great.
And America has a choice.
And now America has a choice on whether they want to give up the greatest democracy, the greatest constitutional republic ever known to this world.
And up next is the New Hampshire primary.